What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Dying Light 2 is close to releasing. And this is not like I don't have like a spreadsheet to show you guys. This is purely my speculation, purely me discussing this, because I have noticed a couple of signs in terms of what Techland is doing and talking and how they're talking about this game. And I want to talk about kind of what I've noticed, at least, and see if maybe the game is actually closer than I even thought. Because I think this game, if you asked me like a month or two ago, I would have said that this game is still probably a very, very far, very far away. At this point, though, I'm not actually so sure. I think actually it could be sooner than I thought, or maybe other people thought if they thought it was pushed, okay? So I'll explain why. Get your dislikes ready. Dislikes do help engagement, by the way, so that's totally great. Make sure, as always, if you guys do like this stuff, you're subscribed, you have the bell icon turned on. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. I'll leave a link in the description below, along with all of my other social media stuff if you guys want to check that out as well. All right, so look, when they did that development update, that's kind of what first shook me in the way, and maybe that's a really weird way of saying it, but it made me think that this game is actually still like a lot farther out. Now, we've actually talked before about how they have like what the collector's edition of this game, like the best edition of this game, which comes with like all of the very high price. I think there's like a statue involved, right? And you can pre-order that. Like, that's something that you can actually be a part of. And we talked about that a few months ago. And one of the things that I said, and I think I saw a lot of other people say too, is like, when you do something like that, I don't know, do you do that like a year out from when the game releases? I'll say this. Normally the answer is no. If there's a collector's edition, if there's something that comes with a helmet or a bust, like a statue, anything like that, normally that's announced probably actually after the initial saying you could pre-order it, or saying like the game is coming out here, okay? It's normally announced after or during, okay? It's not really announced because I've remembered like Uncharted or like Batman Arkham Knight was one that I can remember, or obviously again like things that come with very big, even like Fallout 76. You don't announce that a year out. That's just not something you do, because oftentimes those things, whatever the additional, if it's a statue, if it's a helmet, if it's whatever, that sometimes isn't even done. As we've seen with Fallout, sometimes that's delayed, and people that pre-ordered that edition didn't even get that. Now, that's just Bethesda being very idiotic, but that can happen. I mean, that's something that, because those things, they're not made years in advance. They're made really or kind of at the very end of the system. So that's something that jumped out to me early, but then the development update was like, all right, well, you could have given us more. You could have given us a lot more, and you didn't. But the plan, remember, was that they're going to show us more stuff soon. Probably over the summer is when we're going to get like a much bigger look. Well, after that ended, okay, I expected them to kind of go dark again until the next time they're ready to come out, which would be, again, maybe over the summer. Maybe they partner with Microsoft or Sony or something, and they do, again, a 5-10 minute gameplay presentation. They do another trailer, all that good stuff, and they maybe say the release date, okay? So that's, I wasn't expecting that, but that looked a lot more likely after the development update. However, since then, we've gotten a couple of interesting tidbits about the game, and we've talked about that actually in a couple of videos. We've heard how the map is, like the size, how it's built. We've heard things about how like missions are carried out, right, in terms of like how people talk and build out the world. We've heard a lot. They've done like AMAs kind of with certain people at Techland, but they've basically gone on almost like an interviewing tour, which happens, but like it's a weird time for it to happen. You know what I mean? To say some of the stuff that they've said. And one of the things also that stands out is how long the game is. We actually talked about that on my second channel about a week or so ago. They said the length of the time that the game is, okay? Now, and we said it before, like when a developer tells you that normally it's not the actual right time. Normally you take it down a couple hours from what they say. But the fact that they're actually saying a time, sometimes we don't get times for games until like a month or two out. Sometimes we don't get how long the game is for a couple months out. And I have seen cases where we've seen it maybe around a year, but I would say not anything more than a year. So if the game was supposed to, like, say under the worst case scenario, people thought the game would release in like fall of 2022. I don't think that happens, because I don't think we hear, and that's kind of the point I want to drive home. And that's really all I got. I'll be honest. Besides the collector's edition items, which normally doesn't get, again, you don't really do that too far out. to all these interviews, and again, like, interviews are normal. I'm not saying like you can't do, if you do an interview, that means the game comes out tomorrow. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I thought they would go dark. It's normal for a situation like this for the developer to go dark, but instead they do interviews, and instead in these interviews they're answering pretty specific questions about the game. Like, they're saying info about the game that normally in a lot of situations you don't hear until very close to the game coming out. You know what I mean? Now, again, I could be completely wrong. The game could be still coming out next spring. It's possible when they show, and I think they will. I really do think over the summer we get Dying Light 2. Like, we'll see it. And it's very possible when we see it, they say 2022. There's a trailer and it ends with 2022. And we're doing this again going into next year. I would prefer a month. I would prefer a season, so like spring of 2022 or holiday. Holiday could mean anywhere between like December and February normally. That's what I would prefer, but again, we don't know. And so again, like, I could be like, don't take this as like gospel. Don't say like, oh, Alex said this, or like, again, like, these are all discussions. And I think some people get mad sometimes that I have discussions. I guess it's a crime to just literally speculate about things without, and making it very clear that I don't know anything. I'm just going based off of what I know from the gaming industry, like the history that I've kind of seen there. I feel like it's a little fishy, and in a good way. Actually, I mean, this is a good thing, I would say, that we're getting this information, because I did not expect to know the game length. I did not expect to know some of the other things that they've said in these interviews. It seems kind of odd to say some of those things right now. So we'll have to wait. Again, this is kind of like a wait and see thing. I think it's very possible we see this game again within the next maybe like month or two would be probably not the greatest thing to say. So maybe like June, July, August, somewhere literally in those summer months, whether it's at E3 or maybe it's at Gamescom, or whether they do something with Jeff Keighley for Summer Game Fest. I mean, there's honestly a lot of options for them to do stuff in, but I do think we see the game, and it's not even like I think. They said they're going to like talk more about it, but I think we'll see it. I think we'll probably see some extended gameplay, and I pray that we're going to get an actual release. And again, I if you asked me a month ago, I would have said I feel like it's 2022 now. I do, and that sucks, and I hate that. And again, like, I'm all for delays. It's okay as long as the game is in better quality when the game comes out versus when it would have come out. Okay, so I'm not saying like delays are the worst thing in the world. I would have just said, if you asked me, it's probably been delayed another time, however many times this is, and that's probably in 2022 now. But asking me now, if you guys are, and I don't know how many people actually are asking me, but if people ask me now, I actually feel like it could come out this fall. I do. I think there's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't expect it. I'm not like circling on my calendar like October or November is like the month we get Dying Light 2, but I definitely think it's a whole lot more likely now than it was before they did all of these interviews, which just seem very off to me. Seem like it's a weird timing to do that. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think I'm just literally making stuff up? You can let me know. Again, leave a like, leave a dislike if you guys want to do that. That is totally cool. Again, it's all engagement to me. Honestly, though, make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, the bell icon turned on. Again, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.